Kanye West published a letter in the Wall Street Journal issuing an apology for his past anti-Semitic behavior, blaming it on mental illness. Something doesn't seem right about it, as I'm going to take you through. And this is going to have implications on Candace Owens, given her past support of Kanye. Also, the FBI director, Kash Patel, has come out and said that they know there is a conspiracy going on in Minnesota regarding these anti-ICE protesters. You're going to be shocked at what has been found through secret communication channels and the operation that is taking place. It's funny, you know, what's considered an acceptable conspiracy and operation versus what's not. Our boy over at Turning Point USA, Andrew Colvett, said something that's pretty interesting as it relates to all of this. We'll start with Kash explaining what they've uncovered to Benny Johnson. Let's get rolling. I'm Zach Costello.
Okay, so this is breaking news. So you and the FBI and perhaps other intelligence agencies are fully aware of this coordinated effort to attack federal law enforcement, to impede them and potentially insurrect. And so there is now an open investigation into these chats and into this coordinated network.
Yeah, what
some
I can say.
Some of them are fleeing. Some of them are very scared now. You can see their chats. They're very, very worried now that they have been exposed.
Well, they should be. If they broke the law, you should be worried. It's that simple. If you didn't break the law, there's really nothing to worry about on that front. And so, you know, we're going to continue, as I've said from day one, we will protect law enforcement. We will make sure they have the security and safety to do their jobs. We will also ensure that civilians have the ultimate protection of the First and Second Amendment. But it is my job to adjudicate the difference when there is a breaking of federal statute or state law in the furtherance of a crime or violence against law enforcement officers. And that's when we step in.
What am I doing? Not using my microphone. My goodness. Thank you guys in the comments. I got rolling and literally just had it sitting right next to the side of me, but I appreciate it. I'll probably have to do that intro over again as I publish this video. But in any case, look, it's not that I have tremendously high confidence in Kash Patel, the FBI, the DOJ, and Pam Bondi, that they'll actually deliver on anything meaningful on this front. What's important about this, though, is the big picture. What Benny Johnson is referring to are the reports by Cam Higbee. Let's bring this up. So what Cam Higbee found, and as he published, is he infiltrated organizational signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. So this is a planned operation. What I found, one of the things that I found most interesting here, and I'm going to rewind that for a second, is on Cam Higbee's post. So basically, he's infiltrated communication that's taking place on Signal, which implies that these individuals are planning all of this. And then a former special forces officer with multiple rotations running counterinsurgency ops, both hunting insurgents and trying to separate them from sympathetic population. This guy commented on that post. Spotters, cutouts, dead props, disciplined comms, role specialization, and a willingness to absorb casualties while bleeding the force slowly. Okay? So, and then he goes on to say, what's the most sobering part, it's domestic, funded, trained, and directed by people who live in the same country that they're trying to paralyze law enforcement in. Okay? So what we are seeing here is we are seeing that like this is a guy who's basically calling this out and saying that this is a straight up operation here. All right? So and then look at what we have here. All right, we have Andrew Colvett commenting on this from Turning Point USA, saying that we need to investigate and prosecute the NGOs. Okay, the fake and often foreign funded groups who are fomenting the violence and chaos in Minnesota. So Andrew Colvett is calling this out here. It's organized crime. It's not charity. This is an operation. Okay, there are groups and individuals that are carrying these operations out on behalf of governments, and they do this. Look, this happens all around the world. We're seeing this happen in Minnesota. They're doing it to sow division and create chaos or execute an agenda. This is the most important realization that what you can come to in our modern times. The biggest realization that you come to in our modern times is that we need to remain skeptical of everything that is going on. Everyone has an agenda, and we are seeing it play out in Minneapolis. Like, why does this stuff always pop up or pop off in these different election cycles? It's not by accident. Oh, and you know what other thing happened that many of us are worried was a coordinated and planned operation? The assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's okay to talk about this here, but why not as it relates to Charlie? Because who may be involved? Remember that post: spotters, decoys, drops, define roles, communication channels. This all took place the day of Provo, the day of September 10th when Charlie was killed. Who was working with Tyler Robinson? If Tyler Robinson did take the shot, who was involved in radicalizing him in such a short period of time, over 6 months? We know at least Tyler Robinson was involved. We need to know every detail. But see, I'm very concerned that we won't get those. I'm very concerned that they're going to execute him swiftly, as Erica Kirk is now calling for, and that we will never know any of these details. He'll go down as the lone wolf, and we'll never know of any outside involvement because we can't handle it. Or at least that's what they're going to tell us. All right. Let's get to this Kanye West apologizing over his mental illness. So apparently he spouted off all of this and everything that he's been talking about over the last, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, is now because he was diagnosed with a mental illness. All right. So Kanye West, he published a letter in the Wall Street Journal issuing an apology for his past statements and his anti-Semitic behavior, blaming it on mental illness. What we're going to cover is something doesn't seem right about all of this. Okay, you guys, what Kanye wrote here doesn't sound like him, not one bit. I regret and I'm deeply mortified by my actions and am committed to accountability, treatment, and meaningful change. It does not execute what I did. I am not a Nazi or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people. To the Black community, which held me down through all the highs and lows and the darkest times, the Black community is unquestionably the foundation of who I am. I'm so sorry to have let you down. I love us. And then he gets into it. In early 2025, I fell into a 4-month-long manic episode of psychotic, paranoid, and impulsive behavior that destroyed my life. As the situation became increasingly unsustainable, there were times that I didn't want to be here anymore. Having bipolar disorder is a notable state of constant mental illness. When you go into a manic episode, you are ill at that point, and when you are not in the episode, you are completely normal. And that's when the wreckage from the illness hits the hardest. Hitting rock bottom a few months ago, my wife encouraged me to finally get help. He says this, and this is pretty interesting and probably not recommended to anybody, but he said, I have found comfort in Reddit forums of all places. Different people speak of being in manic or depressive episodes of a similar nature. I read their stories and realized that I was not alone. It's not just me who ruins their entire life once a year, despite taking meds every day and being told by the so-called best doctors in the world that I'm not bipolar, but merely experiencing symptoms of autism. He goes on, my words as a leader in my community have global impact and influence. In my mania, I lost complete sight of that. He finishes that I'm not asking for sympathy or a free pass, although I aspire to earn your forgiveness. I write today simply to ask for your patience and understanding as I find my way home. With love, yay, is how he finishes that. And then he's got his signature on there. Yeah, something's off here. I think that's pretty obvious. He didn't write this letter. There is zero chance that Kanye West wrote this letter. We've seen how Kanye's communicated over the years now, and somebody wrote this for him. I mean, if this was written by Kanye, it's most definitely a lot of therapy talk. Someone got to him, that's for sure. Candace Owens, as we know, has shared a number of the things that Kanye has said over the past years and the things that he has been through. It will be very interesting to hear her take on this letter that he decided to publish with the Wall Street Journal. Kanye has certainly said some crazy stuff, but I feel that that's not abnormal when it comes to like highly creative people. He's always kind of been, brash, off the cuff, said very controversial things. This, like I said, is not him. I don't really buy into all of the "I'm mentally ill" argument. I think that's a bailout that we see used time and time again in our modern day. Like you don't continue to get to you don't get to continue to say like I'm mentally ill, so that's why I did these things. The diagnosing and the psychiatry vibes that I'm getting from this letter caused me to distrust it. How many people have been diagnosed with some sort of condition for speaking out against the status quo or the powers that be? I really don't like this at all, guys. Let me know what you all think. I'm Zach Costello.